What happens when a casual prejudice, something you don't even think about, gets completely shattered by an unexpected act of kindness? Today, we're going to explore the real meaning of unity, all through one man's really powerful story of transformation.
Okay, so look at this. This really captures the two sides of the coin we're talking about. On one hand, you've got this beautiful reality of different cultures living side by side. But on the other, you have the destructive power of arrogance and mockery. Let's start by seeing where these two things collide.
And to really see this in action, we're going to a place that's a living example of this cultural coexistence, the amazing city of Ahmedabad.
I mean, just picture this. You're walking through the old city, you look to your left, you see the minarets of a mosque, you look to your right, and there are the fluttering flags of a temple. The air is just buzzing with a mix of languages. You'll hear Gujarati, Hindi, English, and even languages from South India. It's truly a living, breathing tapestry of different cultures.
But then, this kind of thinking creeps in. This arrogant belief that my way is the only right way. And when you start mocking someone's culture or their language, you're not just being rude. No, you're actively tearing threads from that beautiful fabric that holds a nation like India together.
And this is such a crucial way to reframe the conversation. Instead of seeing diversity as some kind of problem we have to manage, what if we finally recognized it for what it is? The very source of our collective strength, our true identity on the world stage.
Big ideas like this are often best understood when you see them through someone's personal experience. So let's dive into the story of Parth, a young man whose journey is going to bring this whole concept to life for us.
So Parth is 24. He's a professional, living the life that I'm sure many of us would find pretty familiar. But underneath all that, he held a perspective that was about to be challenged in a huge way.
So at work, Parth used to make fun of a colleague for their different language and their festivals. It's not like he thought he was a bad guy or anything. He genuinely thought it made him seem cool, maybe a little superior. It was just this casual prejudice, really, that was fueled by ignorance.
Then, everything changed. A trip he was on took a really unexpected turn. Parth found himself completely stranded in a city he didn't know, totally lost and alone. And in that moment of crisis, help came. But from the most unlikely source, the very kind of people he used to mock. They offered him a place to stay and helped him out, no questions asked.
And that experience, well, that became the turning point in Parth's life. It wasn't a lecture, it wasn't an article he read that changed him. It was a powerful, first-hand experience of pure human kindness.
And this realization just changed everything for him. He finally understood that all our external identities, our religion, our language, our customs, they're basically just like the clothes we wear. They might look different on the outside, but the person underneath, our shared humanity, is exactly the same.
And you know what's fascinating? What Parth learned on a really personal level is actually a core principle written right into the law of the land. The Indian Constitution, specifically in Articles 25 through 28, doesn't just allow for diversity, it actively protects it. These articles are basically guarantees that your culture, your language, and your faith have a right to exist. And that's exactly why actions meant to create hatred between communities, well, they aren't just morally wrong, they're literally against the law.
So that brings us to the big question, right? How do we go from an individual realization like Parth's to a collective commitment to connection? How do we all start actively choosing to build a more inclusive society?
See, this is the choice right in front of all of us. It is so easy to build walls of negativity and division. That honestly takes very little effort. But building bridges of love, respect, and understanding, now that takes real courage. It really all starts with a simple but powerful idea. If you want respect for your culture, you have to show respect for others. It's not about waiting for someone else to make the first move. It's about leading by example. And just think about the universal joy of celebrating something. Sharing Savayan on Eid, sweets on Diwali, or cake on Christmas, these aren't just isolated events. They're all threads in that rich, vibrant tapestry that is India. So, how can we actually put all this into practice? Let's break it down into 4 simple habits. Small, everyday actions that, when we all do them, can create a massive impact. All right, first, try to have an open mind. Since ignorance is so often the fuel for hatred, make a real effort to just learn about other traditions. Second, respect every single language. Remember, an accent is just a different way of speaking. It says nothing about a person's worth. Third, be a firewall against hate online.
When you see one of those inflammatory messages, make the choice to let it stop with you. Don't forward it. And finally, celebrate our shared humanity. Be there for your neighbors, in the good times and the bad, no matter what their background is.
Because in the end, this is the simple yet really profound truth that Parth discovered. Before we are anything else, we are human. And that shared connection, that is the most powerful force of all.
So I'll leave you with this question. When was the last time you shared in a celebration with a friend from a different culture or region? Really think about that moment of connection. Because it's in those small, shared experiences that the bridges of true unity are built, one joyful interaction at a time. Thanks for joining me.
एक कदम विकसित भारत की ओर।